I had to make sure I messed up, basically. So give me just a minute here, and I will get live links back up and updated, okay? Hold on one moment. It is today's news in Warcraft. We are seamlessly blending what is going on with the world today, along with World of Warcraft Classic era. And where is that? Fine. There is that. Oh, there it is. Okay. See, I messed up a minute ago, and I hit the stream, and then I clicked it again just by pure accident. And it saved 1 second of it, and I can't get back in to redo the stream. So because of my silliness. Okay. Actually, it's because of my fat fingers, but that's beyond the point. There we go. Now, so we have got the Bernie Sanders rally in Lenore, West Virginia to play today, and I had to reposition everything in order to make sure that you're able to see it and, you know, do all that stuff. Rory's not happy, so I'll feed him while I talk to you about what's going on, okay? There you go, baby. There you go, boo-boo. So, number one, this was not a rent-a-mob. Okay, I know some people are already saying that because they've been given their talking point already from the dictator. This was not a rent-a-mob. These were people from, I would say, the general area. I mean, I can't really generalize a whole lot. We're going to have a disconnect, aren't we? Yep. Okay, hold on just a minute here, and we shall reconnect. But I do need to do that. And I need to mute just need to mute the screen for a second, okay? Don't know what's going on. It only happens in this game. It does not happen in Star Trek Online. It doesn't happen in any other online game that I happen to play. It is only here, okay? Only here. And I have a hardwired, and this is hardwired, okay? This is the peril of living in rural America. And if you went to Bernie's page and saw his live stream, you saw a bunch of "we'll be back shortly's." It wasn't because of anything but the fact that we were in rural America. And as you can see here, you're not even going to hear a game sound. Okay? I have muted everything so that you can hear what is going on. I got a whole lot of footage that maybe nobody else has. I saw a few others there. I saw, who was that? What was that channel? More Perfect Union was there. I know that one was there. So probably a few others were, a few other YouTube people were there too to report on this rally in Lenore, West Virginia. But like I said, the whole point is, it is rural America. These are real people. This is not a rent-a-mob, okay? These were not paid crisis actors. And in fact, everything was quite civil, including the Donald Trump counter-protest, of which I, as far as I know, am the only one that has footage of that. It's towards the end of the video we're going to show in a minute. It's about an hour and 14 minutes. I'm just getting revved up here and ready to go. You're going to see a little bit of behind the scenes. You're going to see pieces from the local Democratic Party, the Mingo County Democratic Party. And let me tell you something about that area, okay, about Lenore. If you find it on Wikipedia, there's no population noted. Okay, it's that small of a place. It's in Mingo County, which has a population of about 23,000 people. The county seat is a place called Williamson, and it has around 3,000 people there. It used to have, and I want to say it used to have about 10 times that amount of people. If you ever go to Williamson, take a look for a minute, and you're going to notice something, that it looks like a lot larger of a town than 3,000 people. Okay, and that's because it was for a very long time. And when US Route 119 came through, they call it Corridor G around there. When Corridor G finished, Route 119, there was a mass exodus. Whoosh. And it has decimated the population to the point that you see it today. Okay, I would wager that Mingo used to have probably about twice the population. And that was before Route 119 got finished. And they finally had a way out. Yeah, it was that isolated there. Okay? Also, the Democratic Party had, past tense, a gigantic stronghold there. It was huge. Republicans were ran out of town in that general area in the southern coal fields. And now it looks quite the opposite. And the reason why, and you will see this later on in the video, and it's something that Bernie Sanders actually agrees. Okay, so understand this. Bernie Sanders agreed. The National Democratic Party has left. Okay, so give me 1 second here, and I'm going to jump over here to my Firefox tab, and I'm going to get this video started. Now, once I get it started, I am going to mute everything, okay? Microphone's muted, so you're not going to hear me react from here. I do talk in the video a little bit. The volume goes up and down and up and down and up and down, so be prepared at your volume buttons, okay? You may have to crank it up, you may have to crank it down real fast, so be prepared for that. There is one moment where my fat fingers struck again, and I lost a few sentences out of there. I don't think I lost a whole lot, but I smushed all the footage that I had that I recorded in Filmic Legacy, believe it or not. I do have 7, but I haven't fiddled around in that enough to figure it out, okay? So, with all of that out of the way, here we go at the Lenore, West Virginia Bernie Sanders rally. I am muting. Okay, so I'm having to walk back up here. I messed up on the first video, so it's going to be kind of a redo. We are here. We're at a Bernie Sanders rally in, of all places, Lenore, West Virginia. Now, if you don't know anything about this area, it is not very well populated at all. It's not like a giant city or anything like that, but I want you to see this. Look at this. The full parking lot for a little community center. It goes back, it goes down the hill, it goes onto the street. It goes down the street going this way. We had to park like this way past the building here to get to Lenore K-8 school. Thankfully, there was a very nice, very polite lady who got us here, and she was running the shuttle service. You can see it's a perfectly beautiful, clear day for this. And from what I have been told, Bernie Sanders himself will be coming down this road. He'll be coming up this way. And of course, I'll make the turnaround here and try not to fall. I have a bad foot. And he's going to come down here, and right here where you see all these people and these police officers, that's where he is going to enter in. So we're going to go ahead, get down this way, and walk down this way so I can show you the inside. Hopefully I'm not going to have to mute the microphone because I'm going to try to capture in between songs when people are just talking. I don't want to get a copyright strike. So. Okay.
So little brother and sister got to go and stuff like that. I had a job from the time I was 12.
Then over this way we have our Planned Parenthood table. Wave hi, guys. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I'm running it on YouTube today. So, do I need rewanded?
Probably.
Probably. Okay.
Go ahead and take it.
Well, wait a minute until I'm in between songs. If I'm putting this online, I don't want to get a strike. So how has this been for you guys so far?
Busy.
Busy.
Hey, if you guys are looking for the entrance, you can come right there.
I'm not sure when the last event like this was in Mingo County. I'm just not sure. It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a real long time since I've known of one that came here. So when we get to, when we get in between,
They're gonna, take the stuff of it.
when we get in between, though, and to see the crowd. I don't want to get the, I don't want to get the musical part.
I'm gonna go.
You're gonna go on in? Okay. Oh, I didn't get around to this side anyway. Let's mosey. Let's mosey down this way. Hi guys. How are you all? So let's head down this way. We're gonna see just what else is here. There is a no access door right there. That's where it was. Okay. So let's head down this way. We're gonna see how crowded it is down this way. We got a karaoke box there. Ooh. So we got a little bit of people here. So we do have a little here. I'm trying to wait until we have a break because I want to get to the crowd. But as you saw from this lot, tiny little lot, filled up for Bernie Sanders. But do you know who is not here today? Former Governor and United States Senator Jim Justice. And I'm going to come over here to the shade. It's going to be, it's a hot day today. It's like in the 80s right now. We've got, what we don't have, U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito. Do you know who else we don't have? United States Representative Carol Miller. All missing. Completely, utterly missing here. Well, they're taking a little while here, so I'm going to go ahead and just pause this out. And then in a minute we'll go in there. While they're talking, I'll talk, and we will get a note of who is on the inside. I am assuming the no access room is where he will be. So let's get one more look at that door. Okay, we finally reached an in-between songs point, so I can do this. And just taking a look around here, we are just going to do a pan around. We're going to see just who has showed up today. You can see this place is very crowded. I'm having to raise my voice a hair just to be heard, just to feel like I am being heard. Back here is a little more Spartan, but I expect that to fill up very quickly. We don't have much longer until Bernie Sanders comes up. We do have the music coming back up, so I am going to have to stop the video. And there is a local news station, Channel 13. And believe it or not, we even have the catering table. I even wanted to get a video here. These three ladies and this one gentleman are the unsung heroes of any place like this, okay? They are the people that are feeding all of us, and I mean, my good, and it looks real good too. It's good barbecue and everything. Can I get a sandwich?
Sure.
Thank you, thank you. I just want a sandwich and some coleslaw, if that's okay.
One sandwich or two?
Yeah, just the one. Just the one's fine, thank you. Alrighty, thank y'all so much. So let's get back here. We got a spot at the table here, and let's eat. We're at a stopping point again, and it is 1:09. The time is 1:09. It is a little bit running late, but then again, most of these kinds of events do. Okay, most of these kinds of live events do, and I wanted to show one final scan of the audience. You can see here, it has started to fill up. I'm just going to keep on going and not isolate anybody for any extended period of time. But as you can see here, it's a pretty decently packed place today for Lenore, West Virginia. You know, I will show you the population when I do this and replay it in a while for today's news in Warcraft, but I will show you the population statistics for this area and why you will know this is actually a pretty big crowd for this area. All right, here we go.
Some of you know my name is Johnny D. Taylor. I'm the newly elected chairman of the Mingo County Democrat Executive Committee. For today's town hall. The issues we face affect us all, no matter what party we are affiliated with. And Mingo County, West Virginia has one of the highest poverty and illness rates in the United States. The people of Mingo County are some of the best and hardest working people in the world. Yet it seems our area never gets the representation or respect it deserves. Our miners mine the coal that built this nation, that helped us in times of war and in times of crisis. So there's no excuses that in the process when it made coal executives rich, that we see today mine safety laws being rolled back. There's no excuses for forcing right-to-work laws on the people of this state. There's no excuses for cutting things like black lung benefits and the unemployment benefits.
Now, while they're applauding here, and I'm applauding with them, see the guy in blue shirt, he's clear down here. That's the guy who's talking.
Our politicians in Charleston promised that it was for our benefit. So let's take a look. Who in here has a power bill? We have seen our electricity rates increase 14 times from 2017 to 2023. That's a 32.6% increase to your electric bills from March of 2019 to June of 2024. They promised these cuts will make jobs. The GDP of Mingo County has decreased 22% from 2018 to 2022. And over 700 of our hard-working West Virginia coal miners have been laid off just this year. Our representatives from West Virginia may claim they're pro-coal, but they prove through their actions they're anti-mine and they're anti-West Virginia work. You cannot cut mine safety and other benefits for our miners and our working people in West Virginia and claim they're pro-coal or pro-mine. It don't work that way. And our miners aren't the only ones being mistreated. In Mingo County, all one must do is get in a vehicle and take a ride from Gilbert to Breeden to see the effects of being pushed aside for far too long. Our roadsides are overrun by litter, and our roads in most places aren't fit to drive on. Our parks have been defunded, and our city water has been in a crisis for a long time.
If you don't know, the Mingo County water crisis is real. Look it up.
In areas like life expectancy, disease rates, and poverty. We also primarily last in education. Currently, everything from mine safety to public education to Medicare, Medicaid, our Social Security, our drinking water, to even children's cancer research has been under attack. These issues directly affect everybody in Mingo County. The poor conditions of our roads, the closure of our schools, or the potential closure of our schools in places like Vegas and Kermit, the lack of upkeep on our city water infrastructure, the litter in our ditches and over our roads, over our hillsides, all affect us whether it's directly or indirectly. The lack of cellular coverage, the high poverty rate, the high drug addiction rates, the declining economy, and ever-increasing power bills affects us all. In closing, I'll say this. It would be very easy to say the system is against any positive change, and there is no use in trying. As understandable as that would be, that's the wrong thing to do, is to give up. The issues we face today affect generations to come, and they can't afford for us to sit on the sidelines silently and watch y'all see it in motion. Step out of our comfort zones and fight for the issues we believe in, we will continue to see our youth, our family, and our friends leave the area for a better life, and Mingo County will continue to worsen. This fight isn't just my fight, it's not just that Shrewsbury fight, and it's not just Senator Sanders' fight. It's all of our fight. We're all in this together. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to United States Senator
see him up here taking his position straight ahead. Straight ahead again.
Months of work putting this together, but I'm glad to see this much community out here. I'll be brief. This is needed sorely in West Virginia, but specifically in southern West Virginia, the Coalfields. Because our state's ignored, but down here we're ignored, especially. And through all my work, we were trying to get our federal representatives to pay attention to us. And they don't. They ignore us, they laugh at us, they don't care. So finally, after a lot of effort, even fighting against it with that, we reached out to Senator Sanders, and he responded and said, I'll show up and listen to the people here. So I said I wouldn't leave too long. My introduction was very, thank you all for so much for coming out here. Look at the great town hall. Thank you, Senator Sanders, for coming here. So I'll let you stick around right now. Give a big Southern West Virginia love for Senator Sanders.
There he is coming in. Listen to that crowd. Let's try to get him. Listen to that crowd, would you?
I am excited to be here tonight. So, you are asking why does the United States Senator from Vermont come to Mingo County, right? I'll tell you why. There's a lot of mythology that goes on in this country about red states. West Virginia is a red state. And blue states. Vermont is a very blue state. But you know what? I don't believe that for 1 second. I think that whether you're in rural West Virginia or Burlington, Vermont, you got the same exact issues. And I think we don't let people divide us up. We got to come together to fight for that.
You know, again, he's straight ahead. You see him standing up down there. The police officer in that room just walked past.
A
Okay?
little bit about myself. I was born a few years ago in Brooklyn, New York. My dad came from Poland without a nickel in his pocket. He worked hard his whole life, never made any money. We weren't poor, just never had any money. We lived in New York City in what was called a rent-controlled apartment, which made life bearable for our family. We didn't have to pay a lot in rent. My mother's dream was that one day she would own her own home. She died young, and that dream was never fulfilled. And what I learned growing up in a working class family, I learned, and again, we were not terribly poor, we was aid and everything, but I learned about the stress that exists in a home where every day people are worried about money. And my mom and my dad would argue about this and that, and often it had to do with money. And that was a lesson that I grew up with, and something that I have never forgotten. So that's kind of who I am. I moved to Vermont when I was early 20s, been there ever since. And I love my state, which in many ways is a state like yours. It's a very, very rural state. Most of the people live in towns smaller than 1,000 people with a strong sense of community. And I go around the state and do meetings exactly like this, or even smaller, just to hear what's on people's minds. We talk about how we go forward. All right, here's what my politics is about. We live ostensibly in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. But nobody knows that because we have more income and wealth inequality than we have ever had in the history of our country. All right? I'm going to talk about it, and I want to open up. I'm going to ask you questions and you ask me questions. But what I want to just talk about is something that you don't see much in the media and you don't hear much in Congress. And that is, you are living in a country today where one person, Mr. Musk, owns more wealth than the 52% of American households. You got that? One person, more wealth, so 400 billion than the bottom 52% of American households. In America today, the top 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 93%. CEOs of large companies make 350 times what their workers make. That is America today. People on top 1%, have never in the history of the United States of America, our great country, never had it so good. They're making more money than they can count. What is going on in rural West Virginia, rural Vermont, all over America? 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. You all know what living paycheck to paycheck is about? You got 800,000 people who are homeless in America. You got 85 million Americans who have no health insurance or who are underinsured, and as a result of Trump's bill, that situation is going to become even worse. So in America, in a sense, you got two countries. People on top doing phenomenally well, working class people struggling. Here's another fact you don't hear much about. In the last 50 years, all of you know, we've seen an explosion in technology. Every worker in this room is producing significantly more than a similar type worker did 50 years ago. Have wages kept up with worker productivity increases? No. You got the right answer. It's a sad answer, but you're right. And here's an amazing fact. That over the last 50 years, real inflation accounted for weekly wages are lower today than they were 50 years ago. All right? During that period, there was a massive transfer of wealth, according to the Rand Corporation, not particularly progressive group. $75 trillion in wealth was transferred from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. So what you have seen over the last many decades, way before Trump, people working longer and longer hours, struggling to put food on the table, in many cases seeing a decline in their standard of living today, worried that their kids, in many ways, are going to be worse off than they are, and almost all new income and wealth goes to the people on top. And then on top of all of that, it's not only income and wealth inequality. Anybody here think that the American healthcare system is working well? No. How many major countries on earth do not guarantee healthcare to all of their people as human right? Anybody know? I live in northern Vermont, 50 miles away from the Canadian border. You get sick in Canada, you need a heart transplant, whatever it is, you end up in the hospital. You know what the bill is when you come out? Zero. And they end up spending much less per person than we do on healthcare. And I want to speak about this issue. I was chairman of the committee. It's an issue that I've dealt with for years. The system we have today is not only dysfunctional and broken, it is unbelievably cruel. You got about 500,000 Americans every year who go bankrupt because of medically related.
I'm sorry, we somehow missed our car. Let's reset the clock.
In America today, we pay by far, not even close, the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Now, good news for all of you who are major investors in the pharmaceutical industry is you made $100 billion in profit last year. The bad news is if you get sick and you go to the drugstore, you're paying by far the highest prices in the world, in some cases 10 times more than people in other countries. So what we're looking at in America today, in my view, is a nation, people on top, are alone, we do really well, working class people, destroyed. Healthcare system broken. A lot of kids cannot afford to go to college. That's why they come to school and they're $1,000 in debt. We've got a housing crisis that exists in many, many parts of this country. Hundreds of thousands of people homeless, other people pay 40-50% of their living incomes. So the challenge that we face, and I want your questions on this, it's not easy stuff, is essentially how do we create an economy in the richest country on earth that works for working people and not just billions. And one of the impediments that we have as we go forward, it's not just the economy which is broken, we have a political system which is broken. So what's happening? This is what's happening. And that's the world that I live in. The United States Senate, Washington. What it is about is you today have a campaign finance system as a result of the Supreme Court decision called Citizens United, which means that billionaires can spend as much money as they want on an election. Legally. That's right. Which undermines democracy. So what happened is, and it's true in both political parties, Musk spent $270 million to help elect Trump. He then became the most powerful person in government for a number of months. On the Democratic side, you got billionaires spending a whole lot of money on Kamala Harris's campaign and in other areas. To a very significant degree, you have a government now which pays attention to the needs of the wealthy and powerful and does not have time or interest in worrying about the debts of the country. Sad state of affairs, but that is where we are. All right, we've spoken long enough. What I want to do now, let me ask you a question, you ask me. Sound good? All right. Should, in your view, healthcare be a human right? Who wants to raise their hand? Tell me yes or no. I'm saying almost everybody here said yes. All right, Lions? Okay, good. That's all the mics. All right, talk about healthcare here in New York County. What's the story? Great, no problem. It's affordable. You go to the doctor the next day, you get an appointment. You have to go to the hospital, not a problem. What's the story? Most of it. All right, I see you here. Young man right here. Stand up, please. Your name is?
In Nico County, we don't even have a hospital. Our hospital was shut down years ago. The only hospital we have is Dun Valley ARH, which is in Kentucky. We don't have nowhere to go. You have people all the way in the head of Arnold and Dingus, which is in rural Bingo County. It'll take 55 minutes for a paramedic to get to them. And that should not be a problem. We should have someone on the floor.
All of this is true for this county.
And the hospital not even being able to reach them.
Who else wants to comment on healthcare? See him right there.
I ended up back in Bingo County where I grew up after a chronic illness paralyzed me about 4 years ago. I fell
stop and restart for a minute. Real quick. Here we go.
Canada or Europe, every country has a different system. Some of them work better than others. But the basic premise of all of them is healthcare is a human right. And that people, regardless of the income, should be able to get care. Why don't we have that in our money? All right. I ask you a question. Who's got a question for me? All right, see a hand, green t-shirt in the back there.
Mr. Shane, explain to us that Army credits was destroyed in Lower County.
He is in the green shirt.
Carbon destroyed.
They're doing flares.
I can't hear you. Okay.
They're doing flares for methane. They're selling up the market around California for carbon credits. As far as water's went bad down here in Long County and Cal County, we're going to put 5 fire pads here in this county. The EEP lawyers own the company that started it.
What lawyers?
The EEP lawyers, this state owns it. And now they're going to come here after the rare earth minerals. They are destroying our counties. They're destroying our water. I've been investigating this for 2 years. And I've been getting out of work in Long County for 2 years. If that thing's supposed to belong to us, you sell it. Hold it on their name. They're flooding these mines. You're taking it, you're selling it, you're burning it, flame brands, you're selling it out of the market. California, with carbon credits. We need to have vision to do something about it. It's the only person in the United States can stop them from killing us.
I've got to tell you that I'm not familiar with that particular issue, but I will when I talk to this in this report. All right? All right, other questions for I see a woman right here. Yes, ma'am. Well, here's the mic coming.
I can't see where she. Oh, she's over
West
here.
Virginia currently has 4 members of Congress. We're down from 5 recently. Not one of them is willing to come here and do what you're doing. So I say thank you.
Exactly. I said that earlier. They are absent. They are cowardly.
Because I have called every single office. Their state offices, the DC offices, and they're not willing to come here. It's not on their agenda, it's not on their plan. And so my question is, as a member of Congress, what can we do aside from calling and writing letters and begging to be scheduled for meetings? I've never felt more powerless in my life. And that's saying something about a native of Southwest Virginia where historically has been forgotten.
The answer is not an easy answer. But the answer, in my way, one of the reasons I'm here to meet with them is I remember a little bit of my American history and the struggles that your line is for here. They were fighting our army way back when. And some of them lost their lives in that struggle. Look, to answer your question, in my view, is you need a political revolution in this country. What does that mean? It means to start electing people who are accountable in front of the working class rather than people who are busy running, raising money for people. So, you can do things like, this is a great meeting, it's a great turnout. So you can have another one of these meetings, invite your congressperson, and say, by the way, if you don't show up, we're going to be nominating somebody to run against you. And I know that when you are taking a position on politics that represents working people, it's hard to raise money and all that stuff. I know that. But on the other hand, if you have a strong grassroots movement, this is a lot of people from Mingo County coming together, right? I will bet you there are great people in this room who can run for Congress or run for other positions. And I know it seems like intimidating. Oh, running for Congress, what do I know just equally when we develop a grassroots movement and you got good local leadership, these guys can be beaten. All right, I'm going to ask you a question of that. In America, we have, some of you may know, a life expectancy on average, how long we live, which is lower than many other countries. Okay? About 4 years lower than other developing countries. What you don't know is that if you're working class in America, you will live 7 years shorter life than if you are wealthy. Why is that? Why do working class people die at an earlier age than people have money? What's the word? All right, you got it. Talk to me about what stress means for an average person, well, in America or in legal country. What does that mean? What does life mean when you're dealing with stress every day? Who wants to answer that? All right, I see a woman with a kid back way in the back.
This lady right here.
Oh,
There's a gentleman coming with the microphone. There he is.
People and have children who work full time. It's time in a grocery store. I've been worried about being able to make enough money and to afford things, pay our bills.
Got in my way.
A lot of times it's choosing between paying a bill or having food and having a refrigerator. So that's really stressful. And stuff like that, stress, it makes you health and you don't have health care. And it's definitely all back. Your parents were always still working. We were up there. Even your grandparents. So all like health care is ridiculously expensive. Even with health assistance. So it's very stressful.
Who else wants to? I see a gentleman right here.
Senator, my name is Lenore. I'm actually a candidate for Congress. Kentucky Congressman Brett Guthrie and Al Rogers said the following. They said Medicaid will be strengthened and preserved by that bill. Is that true, Senator Sanders?
That is that particular extras. In my view, and I've been in Congress for a while, this bill is the worst and most dangerous piece of legislation passed in the modern history. What it does is it makes massive cuts to Medicaid. If you think about a healthcare crisis now, it will make it worse. There are estimates out there, incredible estimates from organizations that study this thing, that some 15 million Americans will lose their health insurance. Now, it's just not Medicaid, that's with credits to the Affordable Care Act as well. Okay? It's going to cut back on nutrition programs for working class and low income families, literally taking food out of the mouths of hungry kids, cut back on education and health programs. And you know why they are cutting all of these programs? In order to give $1 trillion in tax credits to the top 1%. It is absolutely disgraceful. It is. It's not a shame. It is the right word. I mean, at a time, as you just heard from that woman, when working class people are struggling, you don't take away their lifelines, health care, nutrition, in order to give tax breaks to billionaires who have never had it so good. So, and that's just part of what we're saying. That is the worst of it. And in my opinion, any member of Congress who voted for that legislation should be defeated. That bill is for working class states like West Virginia it is a disastrous piece of legislation. All right, who's got a question for Nick? Somebody's got all the words. I see a gentleman back there. Yeah.
I'd just like to ask, I know we got our representatives, Agbo and Justice, that we all know they don't talk to us. It takes the general for a while to actually be heard around here. And they constantly send out political ads saying that they're doing Trump's agenda without speaking to any of us. I ask you, Senator, do they even speak to you or other fellow congressmen, or do they just keep together, go to Mar-a-Lago, listen to what the boss says, and then just go do it?
I know both of them. Senator Copper for one of years on the same committee, and I'm sure. So yes, we have we try to acknowledge that. But we are not bosom buddies and not serious. We live in somewhat different worlds. Other questions? All right, this gentleman right here. In line with us. Sir. Just in case we do this sort of situation. But we do, and I know something about script and healthcare. But here, we have to really go up and fight and defend ourselves in civil ground. Way back when, in the 1920s, it wasn't quite so civil. But we got to respect those people, our ancestors, from back then. Because whether you're union or non-union or participating on your own, you get a paid holiday, paid vacations, like a union. I know a little bit about the history working conditions that people had to work under. That impacted not just West Virginia. The whole country saw that. And out of what the United Mine Workers did came the CIO of workers all over this country standing together. And that resulted in higher wages, better benefits, better working conditions. So what the coal miners did here was not just a local issue. It was a national issue, and we thank them very much.
All right, I'm going to pause it here and then come right back, okay? We are back. You didn't miss a second.
Oh, okay, I see the hand over there, gentlemen. Before that, let me get to the young lady. I want to say the younger people here. All right, young lady from USA, you want her? Sure, right here. Okay, class, coming.
Good afternoon, Senator Congress. I'm going to question
I've been told that before, all right. What's your name? Sometimes I am attacked by my opponents for being quote-unquote far left, fringe, out of touch with where America is. Actually, much of what I talk about is exactly where America is. All right? We are living, as you know, in a competitive global economy, correct? We're competing against countries all over the world. In order to compete effectively, we need in Vermont, West Virginia, a well-educated population, right? You all, the future, congratulations, you're the future of America. Is it a radical idea, you all think, and Henry, you respond first, that we make in the United States of America public colleges, universities, and trade schools tuition free? You don't hear this on the TV, and you don't hear this in Congress. But once again, you are living in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and if we had good policy and the courage to take on the billionaire class, there is no reason that every kid in this country could not get an excellent higher education regardless of his or her income. That is not a radical idea. And I want you to think about, we talk a little bit about education, we talk a little bit about healthcare. Think in your own minds. What it would mean to the people in this state, in my state, all over this country, if you did not have to worry about whether you could afford to go without or not. Whether you had enough doctors and hospitals in your community. about how that would alleviate stress. Think about what it means, parents, if you knew your kids were getting the best education in the world and not having to worry about whether you could afford it or not. And I want to tell you something. Not only is this not some kind of utopian, idealistic vision, it makes sense. Haley hit the point on the head. You want to have a prosperous country, you need a well-educated country. I want her to get the best education. You want to invest in our kids. And it's not just college kids. I want the best and the brightest to become teachers in America. And they deserve to be paid equally. And every psychologist, child psychologist will tell you that 0 through 4 are the most significant years of a human being's life in terms of intellectual and emotional development. I want the best child care system in the world. These are not radical ideas. Many of them already exist in other countries around the world. We are way behind, despite being richer. The problem is that these people on top are incredibly greedy. I'll tell you a story. I used to be the chairman of the Veterans Committee. I worked really hard on that. And I believe, I think somebody here said, that people who put their lives on the line deserve the quality health care and other benefits that they earn. I go around the state of Vermont and talk to veterans, and I bet it's not any different. And they tell me, I say, you know there's a benefit out there, and how often I hear people say, well, Bernie, yeah, I know, but somebody else needs it more than me. I hear that often. In other words, they're looking out for other people, which I think is a common factor here in West Virginia and rural Vermont as well. Okay? Not these guys up top. Hey, I'm only worth $30 billion. How can I get by? I need a tax break. Oh, it's going to cut Medicaid? What's the problem? Cut nutrition? So what? I need a tax break so I can make another few $billion. All right, that is what we are up against. We're up against extraordinary greed and people who could care less about their fellow Americans. That's the struggle that we face. All right, questions? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Senator. I'm from Parkersburg, West Virginia. I'm a federal employee. I'm a chief steward for the National Treasury Employees Union.
World.
I lost our collective bargaining rights because of a bogus executive order from March that violates statutory law. The courts are failing us. The courts will probably continue to fail us with the Roberts Court. So we need Congress to act to restore our collective bargaining rights in our union contracts. And federal employees have been through hell for 7 months. We need Congress to care about that. Our representatives don't. And so we need folks like you to care about that. And while I'm here as a union steward, I want to thank all of you from the UNWA. I'll just say the way of history down here shows how you deal with the billionaire class. Thank you.
The gentleman is talking about, he's raised a whole broad question. Musk contributes $270 million to Trump's campaign. Trump wins, Musk becomes the most important person in government. Goes all over the place, cutting back. They threatened to cut back 80,000 employees at the Veterans Administration. Well, pressure, we put pressure on them. Now I think they're down to 30,000, which is also a disaster. All right, they went after federal employees. Workers in America, the last that I heard, have the constitutional right to form a union. Including federal employees. But this president who tells people in West Virginia, always for working people, they just do a couple of things. Not only do they lay off tens of thousands of federal employees, They destroyed arbitrarily and illegally the right of federal employees to have union representation. And the other thing they did, again, I'm speaking to people who voted for Trump, working class people, union members. They have now neutered the National Labor Relations Board. You know what that means? It means that workers today are forming a union, and millions of workers want to do that. They really, if the employer objects to this vote, it'll be tied up forever because there's nobody in NLRB who can make a decision. They did that on behalf of Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. So thank you for your point. And yes, we're going to fight for federal employees. So thank you for what you did. One lady right there. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Senator Sanders. My name is Danielle Burke. I'm from Mingo County, but I currently live in Kentucky, which obviously is a very majority white demographic of people. And we've recently seen attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. How do we, as people in this room, communicate effectively with our neighbors that diversity, equity, and inclusion means us Appalachians too? Equity. And as they all mentioned here, our senators obviously really care. But these are conversations that's important for us to have. And I think that a lot of times we forget that equity and scholarships and grants and things like that that help us get to where the rest of the country is being lost in all of this Trump agenda that we're seeing right now.
And y'all raise this very, it's all the questions. You're not going to hear our Republican colleagues come to West Virginia or any place else and say, vote for me because I gave $1 trillion in tax breaks to the rich 1%. I really would appreciate your support. That's not what they're going to vote for. What demagogues do, and Donald Trump is a demagogue. How do they gain power? Do they talk about throwing federal employees or breaking unions? That's not what they talk about. What they do is they try to divide us up. So we don't talk about the health care crisis that exists not just in Mingo County, but in every state in the country. We don't talk about that. We make it worse. We don't talk about the housing crisis that exists in West Virginia, Vermont, all over America. We don't talk about income and wealth inequality. We don't talk about education. What do we talk about? Our job is to hate people who are different than us. Right? Let's spend all our time hating people who are different than us. Nothing new. Sometimes in Europe, during the Hitler era, it was Jews, it's gays, it's gypsies. In this country, historically, it was blacks, Latinos, you name it. And now we're supposed to hate, let's all get together and hate undocumented people who, by the way, are doing some of the most difficult, underpaid work in America. So let's hate them. Let's all come together and hate them so that we don't have to focus on the bloody billionaires whose greed is destroying America. So that's what that whole business is about. It's an effort to split us up, to tell white working class people that blacks get more than they do. Really? Well, what about making higher education available to all black and white and Latino, all Americans? This is what they do all over the world and have historically done it. That's why the rich get richer. To have us fighting with each other. Black people are struggling, Latino people are struggling. We bring our people together, not allow them to divide us up.
We're going to stop and start again. You won't miss the pay. they finally got him. His hand's been up for a long time.
One chapter. I want to ask this question for all veterans of our state. What is healing Scott passed? What's it going to do to our medical in this state? How is it going to affect the VA medical system?
The bill will, we estimate, I've heard, take 50,000 West Virginians off of Medicaid. In terms of the VA stuff was not dealt with in the big beautiful bill. That's something separate. What that is about, thank you for asking. What's your first name? Wayne? Wayne asked a very good question. What Musk and his friends originally wanted to do was to lay off 80,000 workers at the Veterans Administration. Can you guess what that will mean for health care for veterans in this country? It'll be a disaster. Okay? We pushed back. I was on the phone with the heads of every legion, the DAV, VFW, talked to them all. I think they pushed back. So instead of 80,000, they're now talking about like 30,000, which will be a bad situation. In my view, now why does Musk and others talk about privatization going after the VA? Who has an idea as to why? Wayne, what do you think? Money. What do they want eventually? Do you think they like the VA? You got it. Wayne hit the nail on the head. These guys want to make money off the air you breathe, the water you drink, everything. Right now we have the VA system. Is it perfect? No. Do we need more doctors and nurses? Yes. Do we need to expedite getting benefits out? But we made some progress. PAC Act helped a lot of people. Those are workers who were exposed to toxic waste pits in the Middle East and elsewhere, got sick. We're finding out that the benefits that they deserve, right? Healthcare and other benefits. What the Muslims of the world want to do is privatize Social Security, privatize the VA, the Postal Service, you name it, because there's money that can be made. So keep an eye on that. Our job is to strengthen the VA, not to privatize it. All right, maybe one or two more questions here. Come there, right here.
Well, Senator Sanders, first of all, I want to thank you for showing us tremendous love. And my belief, and I think the belief of everybody here, is that West Virginia is not going to succeed until the American working class succeeds. That's all. How can we get the corporate wing of the Democratic Party to be just as guilty to take money and go
You're going to lead it, Max. I am here in New York County, probably I'm the longest serving independent in the history of the United States Congress. I'm always for the Democrats rather than the Republicans. You're absolutely right. Anyone here thinks that the Democratic Party has not been significantly captured, and there are a lot of good people. I don't want to say this is true of everybody, it's not. But if the leadership has not been captured by that same bloody DNA bus, you're right. What we've got to do, you can do one of two things. Number one, you can simply move to take over the Democratic Party. All right? That means hard, everything close. That means coming to me, take over. Run your own candidates. Okay? Somehow you got to impress them.
Sorry, that was me.
I was elected mayor of Wilmington, our largest city in the early 80s. I didn't know one thing about how to run this time. But I wanted to learn. I'm not dumb. You can run for office, learn. You can do it. You can do it. So that is amazing. This state was once one of the strongest Democratic states in the country. And then people gave up on the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party gave up on them. you guys change. And by the way, if you can do it here in West Virginia, you will have a profound impact on politics all over America. People will look at this. All right, I'm going to get going. This has been a great meeting. I do feel very comfortable here in West Virginia. And it's very much like the mountain to come on and visit us. So let me end the way I began. There are people who want to divide us up and racially. There are people who want to divide us up blue state, red state. Let's not accept that at the moment. Every one of us is an American. We are proud of this country. We want to do everything we can to address this serious crisis. Thank you all very much.
And that ends our Bernie Sanders rally coverage. And this, as we come up now, this is the pitiful Donald Trump counter-protest as we're going by. You saw how it was capacity packed pretty much for the Bernie Sanders rally, and look at this pathetic little response. Absolutely, utterly pathetic. The people yelling down there, they're having a hot dog sale. That's all what they're yelling about. These people aren't even yelling. They're not saying a word. They may be awestruck at the amount of people that came out of a Bernie Sanders rally in Lenore, West Virginia. At least they're peaceful. Oh, there we go. I couldn't find the button. Now for the best part of a trip down this way. We came down here for the Bernie rally, and then we came over here, and this is called the Laurel Lake Wildlife Management Area. And look at all of the murals that they painted on the buildings here. Isn't this nice? I always think it's such a beautiful park to come to. There's our Zed. And take a look here. It looks like a quilt square, doesn't it? That one looks like a quilt square. This is just the outside of the bathrooms. This is one of those untold gems of a little park. And there's the map of the state. And you see the little dot right there? That's where we are right now. Okay, and there's the side of the building. And what you come over here for is to see this, the Dingus petroglyphs. Okay, and I'll read this to you because y'all are in Generation Alpha and you can't read. These Dingus petroglyphs, these two petroglyph rocks were found on nearby Dingus Mountain. They are similar to several other rocks found in the state, a source of controversy. Some archaeologists believe these markings to be a form of ancient Irish writings known as Ogham, the tree alphabet. If so, these markings may be 1,000 to 1,400 years old. And then it says, do not climb. Don't climb these. Careful around snake rock. Absolutely. And you see, if you touch it, you don't go back in time. It's not Outlander rules. So we'll get around here so you can see everything here. And okay, and then there's a second rock, and the marks on it are a little more pronounced than they would be here. I'm assuming these two holes were the ones that they used to transport this up. So let's come over here and we'll look at the smaller one. And you can see here where the marks are, right? And that is what I believe they are saying is this Ogham tree alphabet that was here. So I'm going to hang on to this for 1 minute, and I'm going to go real slow around the rock so you can see it. And if anybody can figure this out, and translate it, let me know. Or if they're just scratched up markings, that's something to comment on too. And here is our other rock with its markings. There's its pronounced markings right here. Okay, so let's do that. And we'll move way down here real slow, real slow. And you can see where those marks are. And it is believed that is Ogham tree, as Ogham tree alphabet. So here's the back of the smaller rock that I wanted to show you here. And yes, you come down here, come to this little park. It is so nice and so peaceful. And you get to see maybe markings that are 1,200 years old. We'll see you later. For today's news in Warcraft, I really don't know who's doing this one yet. I'm assuming it'll be Ainann, maybe it'll be Normal. But I wish you a great day and great gaming. Oh, there's a little more too, right there. You see? See right here, right here. That is supposed to be it. So I wish you all a great day, great gaming, stay safe. And I'm going to go play in the rocks. Goodbye, everybody. All right. So let's come up here. We found something. We're at Laurel Lake Wildlife Management Area, and we found this cave. And we're going to come over to it and see what's here. Or we found this thing. It's obviously been man-made. I don't know what it's about. I wish I knew. If anybody knows, tell me. It feels really nice over here. Come over here. It's real cool. You won't believe it. Looks like it was part of the drain system. Because see, it comes down here. It looks like there's a little creek that runs down there across the street. We may have just solved the mystery. This could be a drain.
Well, it was Ainann. Wasn't normal. Sorry if you were a normal fan, but I do wish you a great day and great gaming. I'm going to turn my stuff back up here, though. There we go. And back down with you. So have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody.